It's not fair that a man who's had years of hormones growing up, has the muscles, was built like a man. It's not fair to take his body and put it amongst women in a woman's sport and say she's a woman. It's not right. It's not fair. It's wrong on every level. Amen. And it's not, and you know what? The Christians have been saying that for a very long time. But they canceled us. Cancel culture, cancel, because we're just homophobic, right? We're just transphobic. We're not transphobic. We're not afraid of anybody. The Bible says perfect love casts away all fear. Amen. We're not afraid of you. Why would I be afraid of a sissy? Why would I be afraid? I'm not afraid. Nobody's afraid. So here's the problem. The Christians have been saying this for a long time, but nobody was listening. So now we got feminists starting to realize, wait a second, this transgender thing is going against womanhood. The feminists have been God bless you. The feminists have been standing up for women and saying transgender things is not right. You shouldn't put a man into a woman's sport. It's against women. It's against women. And it wasn't the Christian that said that. So this is the reality. The truth always surfaces. The truth always comes out. And if it's not going to come out from the Christian, it'll come out from the feminist. If it won't come out from the feminist, even the homosexuals struggle sometimes with transgender. Do you know that? Do you know there's a wrestle within the LGBT community over the transgender people? They wrestle with the transgender because it's kind of messing around with their message. No, it's messing around with the message because they want you to believe that this lifestyle is how things were intended to be. But God said something different. God said He made them male and He made them female, and the two shall become one. And this is not a hateful thing. This is a reality thing. This is why the gospel is preached. The gospel is preached so that people would find their true identity. Amen. Your true identity, your true purpose, your true meaning of life. And I know, just like me, it was hard to give up everything I had. It was hard. I'm not going to lie. It was hard to trust God. It was hard to give up my sin. I felt sin in my body. You know, it took me 10 months to get over my lust. I couldn't look at a woman, brother. For 10 straight months, I had to look down because my body was so full of this inclination, this sexual orientation that wanted to sleep around with the world. I could call it sexual orientation too. I was a pervert. That's what I was. That pervert stuff was in my veins, and I just wanted to sleep around with anything I could see. And it was there. So I understand some of you that are wrestling with same-sex attraction, same-sex or perversion or lust or whatever it is. I understand you. I understand you. But I'm here to tell you, it took me 10 months to get over my problems, my impulses, the things that were in my veins.
How did you do that?
I had to turn away and deny myself. And you know why I denied myself? Because I knew that what I was doing, no, it wasn't a waste. It was actually better than my life. Better than the life. It made me free. So
why are you telling everybody here on the station your opinion about this? How did you call it, transgender thing?
No, I'm saying that, this is what I'm saying, is that society even came to realize, not just me, the governance of swimming has now made it a rule that transgenders can't compete in women's sports if they were born biologically a man, and so they're coming to see the reality that it wasn't fair. That was the context of what I was sharing with everybody.
How is it not fair?
Well, when you're born a man, you have a male anatomy, and it's just not physically right to put a male in a category of a woman because we're made different. You're made different than me.
Yes, that's true.
Right. So this is the reason why. It's not about hatred. It's just about fair is fair, right? If you want to have sports, male sports, or why don't we just have a whole?
They are not men.
They're not men? Well, they were born men. On their birth certificate it says they were
But
boys.
your birth certificate is not who you are. If someone does not want to identify with the gender they are born as, that doesn't mean they should compete in the sports that they want to. You cannot force a transgender woman to compete in male sports. That's not the same, because every situation is different, of course. When you're on hormones, their body is built different too. They're not men. They should not compete in men's sports.
Well, their hormones are actually male. They just have a different thought. You know, what you think you are doesn't mean that's who you are. I can say I identify as a white woman, a white lesbian woman. Am I a white? Am I a white woman?
You cannot. You can, of course, identify as that, but you cannot change your race, your gender.
Why not? That's who I identify. I'm a white woman.
I am stopping you, but you are comparing a lot of different subjects to just transgenders. I was not talking about LGBT. I was not talking about any other thing than gender.
No, what I'm saying is that if you were born in a female anatomy, you can't change that anatomy. That's who you are. Even your rib bones are different in a man and a woman. Your brain is wired differently as a man and a woman. Your hormones are different in a man and a woman. Your body parts, you create semen. A woman has a menstrual cycle every year. She has a womb. She has fallopian tubes. Everything is different about a woman and a man. Now, this is why I say you can't change that. Now, if you can change that, then I can also change the fact, and I can say that I'm a white woman and I'm a white lesbian too.
Why are you?
No, I'm saying that because
putting in sexuality. That's a whole different category. Do you want to talk about sexuality or gender?
Well, we're talking about what a gender is supposed to do. Yeah, I mean, a woman is penetrated, and a man releases his semen. A woman has
also be penetrated.
Yes, but we don't put diamonds in trash bins because it's sacred. You don't put
diamonds.
Your anus is a waste receptacle. You don't play around in poo.
Right?
Pardon?
The male G-spot is in the anus.
Yeah, the G-spot is in the anus. Why? Because God doesn't want your poo to feel bad, but you still don't play in poo. When you go to the washroom, it would be horrible to release waste and be in pain all day. And sometimes people are in pain. The G-spot's not there to have sex, but you don't put good things in trash bins. Do you play in poo?
No, I don't.
Why don't you play in poo?
You're using really
No, because your anus.
Stick to your.
No, but your anus is full of poo. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I realize how the human body works.
Right. So
I'm just saying it's possible to have more. It's possible to have sex in many ways, and there's not just man-woman penetration, and there's not a certain right or wrong way to do it. If you believe that, that's fine, but you're promoting your opinion on the station, and you're hurting a lot of people by what you're saying.
Well, why would I? Okay, wait, hold on a second. Why would I be hurting people by having my opinion about how to have sex? And first we're talking about transgender. And let's just say one thing for the record.
Okay.
The way that your body is built, it's built either as a male or a female. That is a fact. You have either a male anatomy or a female anatomy. That's a fact. Nobody can get around that, right? Do you agree?
You can change that. You can change that.
So what would I have to do to become a woman? Just please tell me.
You would have to feel like one first. That's the whole point about gender.
We're talking about changing my anatomy. What would I need to do to get a female anatomy?
Well, you could get surgeries for that. There are many things you can do. I'm not that's educated on the topic, but I know there are people who do top surgery, bottom surgery to change themselves. But
so I'd have to put fake implants in my breasts, or take maybe hormone pills, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to keep taking those hormone pills for the life, so it doesn't come naturally. I would probably have to cut off my penis, right? I'd have to cut off my penis and create a hole, put a hole there. That's not my anus, right?
You don't have to do anything.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to change my anatomy to be a female, so I'm thinking.
Saying you're not doing these surgeries like a DIY situation by yourself. It's a whole medical process.
Okay, so I'd go to a doctor, a surgeon, and tell them to cut off my penis.
No, you cannot do that because you would have to wait for quite some years because the trans people healthcare in the Netherlands is really bad. First, you probably have to wait years before you see psychologists, and then they probably gonna say, oh no, you're not really transgender. Then you have to wait a long time before you get a new appointment, and then you may have a chance for surgery. That's the way it is for these people.
Okay, well, we're trying to jump from point A to point B. I want to be a woman, so I'm assuming. Okay, so fine. I got to sit down around a psychologist.
You how it works.
Okay, so now let's go to the.
When you want a surgery, being transgender is not more real or more fake if you have surgery or not.
No. That wasn't my question. I want to become a woman. I want to change my anatomy to be a woman's anatomy. How do I do that? Now I can. Let's skip the psychologist. Let's skip the waiting period.
You cannot do that because it is mandatory. It's reality.
Okay, well, let's just pretend I went to the psychologist and I went to the counselor, and I'm at the surgeon now. What does he have to do for me to have a female anatomy?
Well, I'm not a surgeon, so I don't know for some precise procedure. I
Okay,
think I'm not sure. There are just many plastic surgery issues. I think when you want to put implants in your breast. So.
Okay, so this is my point. You're not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think it's possible because you would have to deconstruct my brain.
I know that it's possible. I'm just saying how it works, and I'm admitting this. I'm not just educated on exactly what you have to do to change your body.
Okay, so you don't know. You're not sure.
I am not sure.
You know and you're not sure, or you?
I know, but I'm not sure about every part of this because.
Okay, so what you're saying is I can probably change the looks of some with maybe plastic surgery. I can have more of like a feminine-looking nose, a feminine-looking mouth. I could probably grow my hair a little longer. I could probably. So what you're acknowledging is that there is a certain look between a male and a female. You're acknowledging that right now.
I think gender is a concept on itself. It's a different education, but
here's the thing. If a transgender, if I'm going to try to become a woman, I would probably want to look like a woman. So what does a woman look like?
Well, what do you think a woman looks like?
I can tell you.
I don't think there's a certain look of a person that does the woman want to say something to me because she keeps yelling from over there in the sky?
No, don't worry about her. Just me and you. So what does a woman look like?
I don't think any gender has a certain look. I think gender is a concept, but I cannot say there's a certain way a woman looks or a man looks or non-binary person looks because there is no look that you can achieve to become the perfect type of the gender.
Is there anything physically that a woman has that a man doesn't?
Well, depends on.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but she's annoying me because she keeps yelling, and if she has to say something, she can do that here in front of my face.
Okay, hold on a second. That's a good point. You have something to say to this lady? Come. I can't hear you.
Come on. Let's see this.
Hold on. What would you like to say to this lady? And I'm late for the baptism, but.
Jezus nodig u uit.
Why you speaking just lady? No, everybody lady.
Jezus nodig u uit, mevrouw. Kom tot leven en kom tot bekering. Want dat wat u doet en dat wat hij net heeft gesproken, kom in het licht. Jezus is de weg, de waarheid en het leven. Hij wil u leven geven. Hij wil u leven geven, mevrouw. Want wat u doet, u weet het wordt net gehoord, maar wat u doet, u houdt deze meneer tegen om niet de waarheid te kunnen spreken. Want hij heeft genoeg met u gesproken uit liefde, meneer. Uit liefde. I know what I mean, I know what I talk, because Jesus saved me that way.
Okay. You heard what she said, and I have no clue what you guys are saying in Dutch.
No, this lady.
But
Looking another lady, another lady.
Okay, sir, I know you want the attention too,
Photocopy,
but
you take for money. No, take it. Whoa, another lady. Maybe for me, maybe another people.
can I talk to her?
Okay, this
Let's have respect for
good.
this lady.
I respect, but it's going this lady.
Okay.
Yeah, no, talking 2 hours for this lady, this one.
Not 2 hours.
People is so stupid. Take this lady.
Okay.
This problem, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Ma'am. The point. And come on, give her a big hand. You know, it takes a lot of guts to even come up. So thank you. I really respect you. My name's David. The point I'm trying to make is that we were. Okay. The point I was trying to make is that we were all built with a certain anatomy, and no matter how hard we try to shift it, change it, do surgery about it, we can't fully change our anatomy from what we were. There's something about us that makes us male. Even when you look at a transgender woman or a transgender man, you know that that's not a woman, and you know that's not a man.
That depends on the person you're looking at.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, 99% of the 99. It's okay. It's okay. Don't let everybody. Don't let everybody. 99% of the time, you know that that's a transgender. That's why they have a. That's why they have a certain category, transgender woman. We know it's not a woman. It's a transgender woman.
It's still a woman.
But this is what I'm saying. Anatomy-wise, you can't fully change somebody. You can't give someone a womb and a uterus and fallopian tubes. You can't make them have a period.
A woman.
How many transgender people do you know have a monthly period?
How many cis women do you know that have a monthly period?
What's a cis woman?
A cisgender person is someone who identifies as a gender they were born with. Because I know plenty of people, of women that were born as a woman that don't get a period. A period doesn't make you less or more of a woman.
No, but you know what that means, though? That's an abnormality. That's not normal.
Yeah, but people cannot always do anything about
but that's like,
I think it's
like
to
being
assume that a period makes someone completely a woman, because it does not.
Well, that's a womanly quality. That's what I'm saying. Like when somebody goes through period and doesn't have their period, that means there's something wrong. She needs to go to the doctor, because there's a normal way of being a woman. There's a normal way of being a man. When a man has a penis, it means he's producing sperm. If he's not producing sperm, there's a problem in his body. He needs help.
Yeah, but some people are just infertile and they cannot do anything about that, and they just have these issues. And I don't think any biological functions about someone's body make them less or more of the gender they want to identify as.
But
why do you think it
okay,
does?
so what I'm saying is this: the normal way of living, or the normal a woman that has her body intact, she'll have the ability to have a period and to have a child. If she can't, hold on, young man.
Speaking for people.
You're the only one speaking.
People is stupid. It's baby.
You're the only one speaking.
I'm actually trying to have a conversation with
you
this
finish
man.
speaking, give another lady, another woman. You speak.
Hey, Brother Ruben, why don't you take him aside and
Lower your
just pray with
voice,
him? Pray with him.
please.
Maybe he needs.
Yeah, well, I think he needs to be respectful.
He does. Yeah, we're having a good conversation, and I appreciate that. So all I'm saying is this: there is something about you being. Don't worry about him. There's something about being a woman that obviously there's certain standards of what that means. There's a definition. You don't think there's a definition of being a woman?
No, I don't think there's a definition to being a certain gender.
So can I be a woman right now?
Well, if you feel comfortable identifying as a woman, and you would ask me to call you by a different name, call you by different pronouns, I would, because I respect you as a person, and I don't think your gender is. I don't think gender is that important, and I don't see why so many people are concerned with the point where it originally came from, trans people participating in the sport. That's... I'm sorry, I don't think there's a problem with trans people going in a category they feel comfortable as when they do like an Olympic sport or something.
So how about this? How about this? How about let's say I'm a 50-year-old man and I want to compete I want to play in the child's playground with little kids. Is that okay too? Because there's a guy on the YouTube that identifies as a baby. You can pull him up right now on YouTube. He identifies as a baby. His mother supports him.
And which
no, it's not about pedophilia. He's not sleeping with babies. He just wants to play in the playground with babies because he feels he's a baby. He identifies as a 4-year-old, but he identifies in his mind. I mean, if you can't define what a woman is, if you can't define what a man is, then how can you define someone who's old? old? How can you define someone who's young? I mean, it's all in the mind.
Intelligence and how far your brain is developed has nothing to do with your gender. It has to do with I am not very educated when it comes to health around the brain. But I know that age and the gender you feel comfortable identifying as are a completely different thing. Age is not something, I don't believe you can identify as a certain age.
Why?
Well, of course, people that have certain...
I mean, I see old, that's okay. I see old women trying to act young all the time.
Yeah, are they identifying as the age they are acting as?
Well, they feel young. I mean, there's old people that act old. There's old people that act young. There's men that act like women, and there's women that act like men. It doesn't change the fact that they're men. It doesn't change the fact that they're women. They just want to act out and live out as the opposite sex. That's a lifestyle choice, but it's not reality. It's not who they really are.
It is reality, because transgenders are actually a real thing. It's not like people don't do it for fun, that they think like, oh yeah, let me just switch up my gender because it's so easy to be accepted when I do that in this society. It's actually what they feel like. That is what I believe, and I think they should have the space to do that and live their life as the gender they feel comfortable and identify with.
So this is what I'm saying, is that I had a lot of feelings. We started out, I had a lot of feelings that I wanted to live out too. A lot of urges, impulses in my body, things that I felt to do. It was a reality. I wanted to live out and do a lot of things with myself.
But what did you want to do? Had it anything to do with feeling like the opposite sex?
But why is that a different category? It doesn't really matter, because what if I was to do things like a pervert? What if I was to do things like the opposite sex? What if I wanted to put on panties and walk around in high heels? Does that make...
You can do that if you wanted, but that does not... It doesn't matter if you identify as a man or woman. Both can do that. Everyone can do that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Anybody can do anything, is my point. I can live out what I feel. But what I feel is not necessarily right. Just because I feel it, just because a man says, I feel like a woman.
But
I feel, well, first of all, he can't fully feel like a woman. He doesn't have a vagina.
Yeah, well, just because he probably is, if someone... if someone says they feel like a certain gender, why do you feel the need to comment on that? Why don't you respect it and are like, okay, that's cool, now you're happy, I'm happy, and you can live your truth and they can live theirs?
Well, what? Okay, the reason. Hold on. You know, I can show you right on the internet right now thousands of ex-transgender people that have detransitioned. I can show you thousands of ex-gays, thousands of ex-lesbians. I can show you. Yeah.
Ex-gays?
You want me to show you?
I don't want you to show me those people that were tricked into believing that what they were feeling or doing was a sin, because you cannot transfer from... When you are gay, that's not a choice.
Who told you that, though? Who told you this? Why is it...
I know.
Have you ever heard of bi-curious?
I am bisexual, so yeah, I have heard of bi-curious.
You're bi-curious. So
no,
why...
I am bisexual.
You're bisexual. You like men and women. Okay, so have you ever... Yeah. So you ever heard of bi-curious?
I have, yeah.
What does that mean?
That means that people are experimenting whether they... for me, it meant experimenting with what gender do I prefer to be with, what type of people do I like to be with, what is my preference. Als je wil zeggen, mag je het ook in mijn gezicht doen, hè?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I got this. I got this. Okay, it's okay.
If she has to say something, she can come up right here and say it to my face. I'm not gonna...
It's okay.
Okay.
I want to... Okay, so you understand being bi-curious. So what if a gay person was hetero-curious?
Well, then they should experiment with that, but considering that heterosexuality is the norm in this society, I have never heard that much of a need for someone having to experiment with heterosexuality. Well,
because you haven't dug enough. Well, you're bi, right? So you've obviously dealt with someone of the opposite sex. So what I'm trying to say is this, is that if you can be bi-curious, you can be a heterosexual looking into the gay lifestyle, you can also be a gay person looking into the heterosexual lifestyle.
Sexuality is not a choice, that's my point.
How can a bi-curious person have a choice if sexuality is not a choice?
Because it's literally comes from the word curious. You're experimenting because you're not sure.
So what if a gay person starts to realize, maybe I'm not sure that being gay is my lifestyle, is the right thing. I'm thinking about being heterosexual. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, people should go with the sexuality that they want, that they're comfortable with, just the same as gender.
Right.
But you can, I think, especially in religious groups, a lot of people are taught to believe that being gay is a sin, being gay is wrong, you cannot act on these feelings, but it is not. And I think a lot of people are being manipulated to think that, and so yes, of course there'll be people that think they're gay at first and then they may not be, but that's something for someone to look out themselves. I don't think you can convert from sexuality to sexuality.
Well, I mean, we're going around in circles because if a bi person can convert, if a gay person can convert, I think we're all being manipulated by the information that we have. Information is what gives you the meaning that you place on your impulses. So you're saying because I have same-sex attraction, the meaning means I'm lesbian or I'm bisexual.
No,
but some
okay.
hold on.
Sorry.
But what I'm saying is that God gives another meaning. He's saying you might have impulses in your body, but that's a temptation. That's a sinful desire. You don't believe that, but I'm telling you, you're placing a meaning on something that God has already put a meaning on. There's already a definition for that. It's called sin. I believe in God because everything around you points to the reality of a creator. Everything. There's nothing that you see that hasn't been designed or created by something. And if you can tell me one thing, whether human, I mean the trees come from a seed, the seed comes from another tree, and evolution, and even the Big Bang came from where? The Big Bang, do you believe in it? You said evolution?
Yeah, but what idea do you have with the Big Bang? Because a lot of people I've spoken to that believe in God believe that the Big Bang was just poof, everything was here, but that's not how it worked. It was millions of years of evolution.
Right. So when that all started, it all came from a Big Bang, I'm assuming?
Nah, I think humans came from evolution. It wasn't just like Big Bang poof humans.
So what brought everything into being?
Well, this was a very long process.
Okay, the beginning of the process. What's the beginning of the process?
I don't know. Those little things in the ocean, bacteria. I don't know.
What created the ocean?
How that works.
Do you know what created the ocean?
Well, dude, I cannot explain the whole evolution to you.
No, but that's my point. The best of the evolutionary cycle says this. The best of the evolutionary cycle says that all things came from at least a Big Bang. And what caused that Big Bang, they don't know. But I can tell you what caused it. It was God said, let there be life. That was the Big Bang. Something brought everything into being. That's my point. No matter how far even if you call it evolution, let's just say evolution is correct. Even evolution points to the fact that something came from something.
Yes, that's how it
Yes.
something comes from something. That's
Which is my point. Something has to come from something. Life has to come from a source. It's
it comes
impossible.
from two people having sex and getting children.
Even the amoeba that didn't need two people to have sex.
No.
Even those little things in the ocean that you mentioned, did that need two people?
Well, I would not know how they're created exactly, but I do not believe in God, so I don't think they were created by that.
I know you don't believe in God, but whether you believe in God, you have to admit that you exist, I exist,
Yes,
and
I
that
know that.
everything has a source. This is the laws of science. The laws of science say that behind every effect there's a cause. This is the most.
You're putting it in a different context than I am doing, because you're saying that something that gave life to all of this is God, right?
Okay, take the name God out. Something intelligent brought intelligence into being.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. What is intelligent, that's also a standard. That's a debate or thing.
Okay, do you think that a rock can create you?
No, it cannot.
Why?
Because it is a rock, it cannot.
It's not intelligent.
Well, do you need intelligence to create a person? Because I know plenty of people that have children that are not intelligent.
Okay, we're not talking about how smart someone is
What do you
versus
mean
somebody else.
intelligence?
I'm talking about the fact that you can think, you can reason, you can choose, you have feelings. This is
Well,
intelligence.
A rock does not have any of the things that's needed to create a human being.
Good,
It's not.
good. It doesn't have those things. So that means
it's-
whatever created you must have had those things. The rock
my
can't.
parents.
Right. The rock couldn't create you because it didn't have those things. Hold that point in your mind. But something created you that had those things.
Yeah,
That's
my
why
parents.
your parents. And so whoever created your parents had those things to give to your parents. And that is what I'm talking about, intelligence. That is what created you and created this universe. Whatever created the universe must have had the potential to bring everything you see into being. This is why we call it a name. We define it in a dictionary called God. You may not like the word God, but
No,
call
I
it a
don't
higher
like the-
power.
I don't like the concept of a higher power or a god. I think humans are responsible for their own decisions. Everything in society was formed by humans based on certain ideologies. I don't think there's a god that leads people, because if there is, what the fuck's going on in the world?
Yeah. Well, you already have a higher power. The power that brought you into being was your two parents having sex in a bedroom.
they are not
They were
higher
they were
power.
stronger and they were bigger than you.
Because I did.
They were a higher
exist
power
before
before
them.
you came into being,
How
right?
they're higher power than me? Because
Because you weren't
before me.
existing. You weren't existing, and
Yeah.
they took their power and brought you into being.
Well, I don't think that was power.
Okay, let's not call it a higher power then. Let's call it something that came before you. Something came before you. Something came before you that had everything in its power or in its being to make the intelligent person that you are today. That's what it is. Whatever you want to call that, we call it God, but that's the thing that brought you into being, and it's logical. Anytime you say anything contrary to what I just said is illogical. It makes no logical sense. Well, it makes no admit that something didn't bring you into being.
I did not say that. I said my parents are not a higher power compared to
Right.
me.
So your parents brought you into being,
How
and
they
in the
have power?
evolutionary cycle, something brought them into being. And whatever brought them into being had the potential and the ability to bring you into being.
But that was not a higher power. That was just basic biology and human feelings.
Okay, let's call it biology then. There's something in biology that's brought you into being.
Yeah, that's just the whole process of pregnancy.
There's something in reality that brought you into being.
Yeah, my parents indeed. I don't get your point.
Right. So there's something in reality that brought all things into being. There was an originator behind the origin of all of life. That originator,
Yeah, evolution.
call it evolution all you want, but that originator had intelligence, had feelings, had order, has logic. And when you go down the list of everything that you experience today, that originator looks like what we call God. That's all
I
I'm
don't
trying.
think it does.
No, okay,
That's
well,
a subjective matter.
yeah, but here's the problem. Can you tell me where everybody comes from? Or no?
Yes, I can tell if all these people sitting here right now.
The universe,
came
everything.
from- I cannot tell you where the whole universe came
Exactly.
from.
You can't.
Because
Because you don't know.
what is your definition of the universe?
The universe is everything that exists around you. The sun, the moon, the stars, the planet, the water, the trees,
Yeah, those
space,
already
time.
existed for a very... Didn't those already exist for a very long time before?
Yeah, they existed for a long time, and even time has a beginning and has an end. So at the beginning of
doesn't
time,
have an end.
okay, so if it doesn't have an end, so time, did it ever begin? Or did everything just always exist and there was no creator?
No, everything did not just always exist, but there was no big creator that did it in 7 days.
Okay, forget the 7 days. We can argue that that's metaphorical if somebody wants to go that route. I don't think it is, but let's just say it is. You're saying that not everything was always here. That means there was an origin. All my question is what was the origin of all of life, all of the universe? What brought it into being? That's all. That's my question.
And your definition of the universe is just...
Now my question is to you. What brought
I'm
it
trying
into
to
being?
understand your point so I can...
The sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, everything that you see, everything that exists. What brought it into being?
Well, I cannot tell you what brought the sun into being because how do you say it? I'm not very good with information on planets and stuff, but I think that's a whole different category compared to how the Earth has evaluated evolution, but like the curve of it.
I gotta cut this conversation short just because simply I'm late for a baptism. But if you want to continue this conversation, we have a lady somewhere around here that's my secretary right now, and I would love to get your contact if you feel comfortable. Her name is Janet, wherever she. Okay, so she's over there. Nice discussion. Okay, thank you so much. Give her a big hand. At the end of the day, the best of thinking, the best of logic can't answer where we come from, but still believes that we come from something. They just don't know what it is.
Fire have to come up on the land one day. Fire have to come up on the land. Judge me to only